All right, what is going on, everybody? It is Sixers Wizards Game 2 preview live at the Wells Fargo Center. I think it's at 7 o'clock tonight. Obviously, we're having some construction in and out the house, so I had to switch the angle of the room that I'm in. But, I'm here at 10:32 in the morning to discuss Sixers basketball with you guys and basically talk about what we need to do to win. Now, in my last video, I said that I fully expect a sweep. If you remember, dating back to my first ever Sixers play-by-play when I did commentary for this team, for this season, I told you that the Washington Wizards didn't stack up to our roster. It's not that we're playing great. It's not that we're the superior team, because I don't think we're a superior team in this league. That belongs to the Brooklyn Nets. That belongs to the Utah Jazz, the Suns, teams like that. But we're playing a really limited team. You know, outside of Westbrook and Bradley Beal, we're playing a very limited team. You have Bertans, you have Howell Neto fucking starting, you know? So it's for me, I think I jumped the gun a little bit when I said that it was going to be Sixers and 6. Now, obviously, I'm going to stick with that prediction just because the Wizards are kind of hot and I never go back on my predictions. But if they swept them, I wouldn't be shocked. The Wizards are not a good team. But, you know, everything that happened last game, I said was going to happen. You know, it was going to be a close game down to the end. We start off very flat. You know, we did have a lot of rust going into the game. We didn't play for a week. You know, that stuff plays a factor. And if we play like we did last game against a team like the Brooklyn Nets, I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but I know we're going to win the series. If we play like that against the Brooklyn Nets, the Bucks, we'll stand no shot and we'll lose in 5 games. So this team against this Wizards team really needs to step it up. They need to step it up. They need to put their foot on the gas and just drive the whole game. They can't let up. But if they do, they're screwed. You know, I mean, during the halftime of Game 1, I was in the concourse, you know, getting a drink, obviously. And the Sixers fan was so salty towards a Washington Wizards fan because they were up by 1 point. And the Washington Wizards fan wasn't doing anything wrong. You know, he was just standing there. He's like, oh, we're up by 1, blah, 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 blah. Sorry. And the Sixers fan wanted to fight him. You know, and that brings me to another topic. Well, not another topic, but that brings me to a point. You know, Philly fans are very, very sensitive. They think they're going to win all the time. And I happen to be one of them, you know, unfortunately. And that's why I say pump the brakes when it comes to the finals talk. Especially with this team. I think they're 2 pieces away. I don't think they're 1 piece away. I think they're 2 pieces away. You know, I'm not going to another game in this series. I'm going to go to a game per round. You know, they'll probably beat the Atlanta Hawks. They'll probably beat the Knicks in a tough series. But as for this series, I just don't. Maybe they'll lose 1 game. I mean, I'm trying to find a loss somewhere. I know I said Sixers and 6. I have to stick with it. But from what I saw Sunday, we played as bad as you possibly could to start that game. And we still pulled it out by 7 points, you know. So I can't really find a loss in this series, and it sucks because usually I'm really dead on with my predictions. But, you know, the Wizards really didn't impress me. They didn't. We played really bad. JoJo was in foul trouble early on. And I just feel like this is one of those series where, you know, it shows what kind of team you really have. Because if you're really a true number 1 seed in the NBA, you should take care of this team, no problem. You know, you should sweep this team. You shouldn't let them get 1 game. You should sweep this team because they're not on your level, like matchup to matchup. They're not on your level, you know. And it's one of those series where it's a practice squad series. Like, it's not a practice squad series, but it's a practice series to see where you're at, you know. And last game, they didn't really show me anything different from what I've been saying, you know, the last 2 months. They really haven't. So tonight it's a statement game to see if they could blow a team like this out and, you know, just coast on to the next round. If it's another close game at home, I got my doubts. I'm going to be honest with you. I got my doubts 100%. You know, I know a lot of people want to see this team succeed. I know there wants to be a parade on Broad Street. But if they can't pull out 1 blowout win in this series and move on, I'll have my doubts. I really will, because we're better in transition. We're better on defense. Coaching, we're better, supposedly. I mean, I'm not really sold on Doc, but yeah, coaching matchup to matchup wise, we're better. I just don't see how this team can't blow this team out at least 1 game when comparing our stars to their stars. You know, we have Embiid and Toby to match up with Beal and Westbrook. Those are our superstars. Then we have our role players. We have Danny Green, Seth. We have pretty decent shooters. I know a lot of people are down on Furkan Korkmaz, but when he gets hot, he's actually serviceable. So we have the better team overall. Do I personally think we're the actual number one seed? No. I mean, if you look at how the Nets played last night, I know they're going to say, oh, it was Boston without Jaylen Brown. If you look at how the Nets have played the last two games, that's a team that's worthy of a number one seed because they're blowing out an inferior team. We're not blowing out an inferior team. And that's the problem I'm having. They need to show me that they can blow this team out of the water. Because supposedly the Washington Wizards are worse than the Boston Celtics because they lost to the Boston Celtics. So I want to see what this team has in store tonight. I want to see a blowout. I don't want to see a close game. I want to see a wire-to-wire finish by the number one seed in the Eastern Conference. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see this ticky-tack bullshit where you start off up 20, give the lead back, and then you're close in the game. No, I want to see a wire-to-wire 25-point victory. That's what I want to see. And I haven't seen it in a while. So it's put up or shut up for me. It's obviously we're not going to lose a series. That's not a thought in my mind. We're not going to lose a series. It's the Washington Wizards. We're just better on we're better on every single aspect. Every single aspect. But they need to make a statement, or else going forward it's going to be tricky. By the way, guys, we're 7 minutes into the stream. I feel like I've said enough. I'm going to get to some of these comments. There's 11 people watching right now. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, share it around to your friends and family. We'll be doing this for every single Sixers game right before like 4 hours to 5 hours before the game. I'm just deciding to do this early because I need to get some sun today. I need to go to the beach, so I need to get down there by like 12. So we'll do this for about 20 more minutes, but I'll get some of these comments. What's up, Audi? What's up, Heels Giants? Young Money, here we go. Sixers, here we go. Yep. What up, Eagle Lifer? How you doing? What's up, buddy? What's up, Easy Money? I think the Sixers can win one on us. I mean, I guess I could see it just because of how down we're playing to our competition. Like we're not being that superior number one seed. We haven't been that superior number one seed for the last 2 months. So that's where I could see where they could win a game from us. But if you're matching them up head to head, they really shouldn't. Like they have no business playing with us at Wells Fargo Center. But I've been saying this for the last 2 months. This is why I really haven't been covering the Sixers as much. Because, I was just waiting for the playoffs. Because they would just frustrate me to no end. This team just, I don't know what to make of them. I really don't. They're not a great team, but they can be a great team. They just haven't shown me anything to where they're just levels ahead of their opponent. They just have not shown me that. And I can see where other people are coming from. They've done play-by-play all year. They've kept up the content all year. And that's good. That's good shit. I mean, you're making money, but I don't see where the championship contender comes into play. I really don't. But I could be wrong. It's what my eyes are seeing. What's up, Ryan? How you doing? Oh, 100% Easy Money. The Jazz are flukes. I mean, they started off soft against the Memphis Grizzlies. They didn't have Donovan Mitchell. He was clearly played. He was clearly healthy to play that game, and they kept him out for, I guess, another game for rest or whatever. But the Jazz are better than the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies are the youngest team in the NBA. They're going to fade off. They might win one more game, but then they'll fade off. They're a very young team. They're up and coming. John Morant is an absolute stud, one of the best mega stars in the league. And, they're going to be great for years to come, but they're going to fade off soon. The Jazz are just too all around it. They have a better coach, in my opinion. So I just feel like it's one of those things where you squeak one out, and then that's pretty much it. If the Hawks win the series against the Knicks, can they make it a series against the Sixers? I mean, Trae Young's a force to be reckoned with. It really is. They have a good, well-rounded team. But again, that's another series where you're playing either Hawks or the Knicks. Both those teams are below us. We should beat those teams no problem. But that's just not how I see it. The Knicks are a very good defensive team. They have a great coach in Thibodeau. Derrick Rose found his home finally. Julius Randle, Noah being a late bloomer that he is, they've turned into a decent team. Now you look at their players matching up to ours, and it's not even really close in my opinion. But it all depends on how you come out, guns blazing, or if you don't. It's like it all depends. I can't really predict anything until that series actually happens. Because I've been watching sports for years, and I only look at my team as it is. I don't look at the other teams and say, hey, we can beat that team, or hey, we can beat that team. I look at my team in particular, and I go through the defense, the offense, the coaching, and I see if they match up. And in this series, they're better than the Wizards. But going forward, that's where an issue lies, in my opinion. But guess what? We'll see. I can't predict the future. I'm just giving you my analysis as I see it. And damn, I got to clean up down here. It's fucking dusty as hell. Sure, let's forget the bad start the Nets had in game. Well, did you see them last night? They completely redeemed themselves. I think they won by, 30 points? And they were down by almost 20 points in the second quarter of game one, and they won by 10 points against a team who had experience and has a really good coach in Brad Stevens. The Nets played 8 games all year. And in that second half, it looked like they've been playing together all year. It's a scary team, man, and people don't want to believe it. Beal and Westbrook are top-tier superstars. Besides Steph Curry, Beal was the best scorer in the league. Yeah, but here's the thing. I mean, you could look at it that way. Beal, in my opinion, is kind of a stat pattern. I was at the game one. He put up a lot of points, yeah, but was he a game changer? No, he's more of a stat pattern, in my opinion. Westbrook is the same way to me. He puts up a lot of stats. It seems like he helps his teams out. But then at the end of the day, they don't win. You need that ice-cold killer. And those two players, they're mega stars, yes. But they're not winners. You know what I'm saying? They're probably both going to be in the Hall of Fame. Westbrook for sure, first ballot. But they're not winners. You need winners. And to me, we have a damn good winner on our team, Joel Embiid. Only problem is we don't have another one. So we got to add another one. Have I watched Sports Talk? Is that the guy that makes the faces? I've watched him sometimes. I try to keep up with the content creators, but I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of them, I don't know what it is. I just feel I'm sick of the bias. Like, I don't like it. Sometimes it just gets me heated to no end. I don't like bias. I like fans who tell it how it is. And not a lot of people do that. And it gets me irritated. It gets me ticked off because one of the things I hate the most in life, all right, is people that sell people bullshit, especially when it's not there. And I'm just not one of those people. I feel like the public, you guys, should know the truth. I feel like you guys should know what it really is, what's going on. I don't feel like I should tell you that we're going to win the championship in every single sport every single year. That's just not what I do. I'm a fan just like you guys, but at the same time, over the last 3-4 years, I've become less biased. Like I've become, and I'm 28. Some of these guys are like in their 30s. I'm 28. I've become less biased because I realize what Philly sports are. They bring you up, and then they rip your heart out the last second. I've been dealing with this my whole life. And this is another one of those teams where I don't necessarily feel that they can win a championship. That's usually when a team does win a championship, when I don't feel that they are. Because when Philly teams aren't expected to win a championship, that's when it usually happens. In my mind, I'm not expecting this team to win a championship. Now, in the Philadelphia fans' minds, they're expecting them to win the championship. So they're putting all this pressure on them. So that's another way where it's confusing. I know. But in their aspect, this is a team that'll get knocked out in the second round because they're expecting so much out of them. I've been at this for years. And I become less biased. I become more of a like a neutral guy. I'm still a fan off camera, but on camera, I'm more of like a neutral guy. Because if the team is great in any sport, I'm going to say they're fucking great. You know, I'm going to say, oh, yes, this team can win a championship. If they didn't win a championship, it would be a bust. I'd give it to you straight. I would. I don't see this team as a championship or bust team. I see this team, if they get to the Eastern Conference Finals, you know, that would be a success, even though it's not really a success because I've said, if you quote Derek Jeter, he said, if you don't win it all, you're losing. You're a loser. But for this team, if they get to Eastern Conference Finals, they haven't been there since, I'm trying to think the last time they were there, 2001? That was the last time they were in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it would be a big step up. But if they were to get to the Eastern Conference Finals, they need to be buyers in the offseason. Like they have to be. You know, you need to go get a stud. You need to trade for Damian Lillard. Like you need to go get a stud to compete with a team like the Brooklyn Nets and James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. You need to do that because if you don't want to contend with these teams, then what are you playing for? You know, that's why I'm not expecting the championship in these playoffs because I just don't see our team as the final product yet. And I don't want to lift my hopes up for no reason, you know. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling on about this, but like I said before, I don't really watch Broads. I've seen a couple of his things, but I just don't like the content creators in Philly in particular are just very, 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 very biased. You know, I know that a lot of the Sixers content creators, you know, I bash them a lot because, you know, I don't like the way their opinions are kind of like bleh, but and they're kind of full of themselves. But I'm going to be honest, they're fans. You know, they like the team, and that's good. But when you're trying to become someone big, when you're in upwards of like 10,000 subscribers, all right, that's when you're becoming into big boy territory, and that's where you have to kind of stop being a fan. You know, because you're reaching a wider audience. You know, because if you're a fan, if you're going to be a fan your whole life, that's great. But it's not great when you're talking to a huge crowd. You know, it's like one of those things where you have to be honest. And that's just how I see it. That's how I see it. You know, I'm honest. Like I said, I'm a fan just like the rest of you, but I'm an unbiased fan. You know, if a team's great, I'm going to tell you they're great. I think they're going to win the championship. I'm going to tell you that. But if I don't think they're good enough, I'm also going to say I don't think they're good enough. You know, and a lot of content creators just don't grasp that. All right, Ryan Rowe. Ben Simmons got to work on his shooting. The huge problem from game one will be fixed. A lot of adjustments, being aggressiveness, and accountability. And this is another thing with Ben Simmons. You nailed it right on the head. He had 6 points, 15 assists, and 15 rebounds. You know, his passing was superb, elite. And it wasn't even talked about during the game because he only put up 6 points. He's very Draymond Green-esque. You know, he does everything else well. Defense is top-notch. It's superior. It's elite. But he doesn't shoot the ball. And that's what takes away from his game because these announcers are waiting for him to do something spectacular. You know, he'll put up a jump shot. And if he does that, he'll be a top 3 player because everything else is elite. But it's shooting. And that's the problem with him. That's why I'm not a huge Ben guy because I know he can do better, but he just doesn't want to in year 5. So, I mean, I don't know. Oh, this is a good one. Let's see. There's no such thing as stat pass. Right off the bat, completely disagree. There are players in the league in every sport that want to get as many points as possible and aren't for the team. So I disagree with that right there. You know, they get their money. They put up as much stats as possible to get into the Hall of Fame. I completely disagree with that theory. Beal has definitely made an impact on his team because they've won a lot of games recently. You want to know how they won a lot of games recently? Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal being on the same team. What Russell Westbrook becoming the record holder over Oscar Robertson for triple-doubles, career triple-doubles. Bradley Beal, putting up 30 points a game, stat padding. They won those games, and they were still 4 games under 500 because they have no defense. They have no center. Alex Len is one of the worst centers I've ever seen in my life. So when you say there's no such thing as stat padders, that's your opinion, but I think it's wrong. I think it's a wrong opinion. But hey, everyone has an opinion. Everyone's entitled, and I'm going to leave it at that. Is the NBA showing bias for pushing Kristaps for violating COVID protocol, but not LeBron? I mean, here's the thing. When it comes to ratings, because everyone knows that the NBA ratings are in the toilet. When it comes to ratings, LeBron will get a pass on almost everything because of how big of a megastar he is. He'll get a pass. Kristaps is kind of a thing in the past. Like he was here. He was kind of a unicorn for a while. Then he left the Knicks and he became non-existent. Like he was just thrown away like acid. LeBron is too valuable, especially for the money, especially for the revenue. You have to kind of give him a pass. I know it sucks, but that's how the world works. You know, LeBron is the best player of all time, in my opinion. Is he an asshole? Yeah, he's an asshole. But he is the obvious best player of all time. And I just feel like, yeah, it was a clear pass, you know, and I personally didn't have a problem with it because of the whole situation going on with, you know, the mask mandates getting lifted, you know, people are getting vaccines. I didn't really have a problem with that. But when it comes to Kristaps, yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, you have to start. At this point, you got to treat everything with a balance, you know, because – and I'm kind of contradicting myself because, you know, I'm falling into that, you know, you should treat everyone equally, but it's not going to happen. If that makes any sense, it's not going to happen because it's LeBron James. I don't think the Sixers are there yet, but they need a couple more. Yep, that's what I said. Ben passed great and defended amazing. He was engaged. Yeah, and if he puts up shots, if he puts up more than 6 points a game, you know, we win that game probably by 15 to 17 points. You know, it's up to him to make the team better other than his passing and defending. And I'm waiting for that to happen, you know, because Ben Simmons can be a great player, and everyone knows it. But the thing is he regresses. He holds himself back, and that's a thing that, you know, we gotta step up. We got it. What's up, Big Play Slay? How you doing? Nick Wright ripped the NBA for not suspending Steph when he threw a mouthpiece at the ref to save ratings, but won't keep the same energy in the situation with LeBron. I mean, it is the same energy. I mean, we're talking about Steph Curry and LeBron James here. You know, these are two megastars. Obviously, I think LeBron is the best player of all time. So, you know, he's going to get a pass on everything. You know, he's going to be on the new Space Jam. You know, the only player that was in another Space Jam was Michael Jordan. Those players are always compared. You want to know why they're always compared? Because they're dynamic forces. You know, these are players that you're never going to see again. When LeBron retires, it's over. You're never going to see a player like that ever again. I thought we were going to get that in Ben Simmons. I was wrong. You know, you're never going to see a player like that, at least for another 10 to 15 years. Like, you're not. Those players only come around once every 2 decades, if that. You know, so a lot of people bashing on LeBron James. You know, he's a trash human being. Yeah, we all understand that. But at the end of the day, you have to enjoy the time that he's here, because when he's gone, you're going to miss him. You know, you're going to miss him. You're going to miss watching him. And he has 4 titles. You know, is he undefeated in the finals? No. But he has 4 titles, and he's one of those generational pieces that will be missed dearly in this league. You know, and I loved watching him play. I still do. I just wish he was a better human being. My prediction, Sixers 121, 108 Wizards. It's a good prediction. You know, I actually have the Sixers starting out fast this game and then falling off because that's what they usually do. And it becomes a closer game, like a 5-point game at the end of the game. And then they ultimately win by 10 points. What would be your super team if you could make one? Super team all time or current? All time would be a good one. Think about all time. Yeah, get back to me on that one. All time or current? How is he a trash human being? In my opinion, he just is. I could go on and on for days of his whole China, like being in bed with China and stuff like that. But I'm not talking politics. In my opinion, he's not a good guy. He's just not. But that's my opinion. Everyone has one. But as a National Basketball Association player, he's the best of all time. So I just feel like that had to be said. And I think people should be a little bit more lenient on him. He does act like a baby sometimes, but his play is just second to none. Ben Simmons is actually a good player. He can pass, he can defend, he creates mismatches, creates turnovers, and makes other players around him good. Yeah, but he can't shoot. And the game is basketball where you have to shoot the ball. So, yeah, he's a decent player, but he could be an elite player. That's the problem, and everyone knows it. He just won't shoot the ball. Yeah, exactly. If you want to hear that stuff, go to Clay Travis on Twitter. You might not like his opinions, but, they're pretty on. All-time team. By the way, guys, we're almost a half hour into this stream. Do me a favor. Helps out the stream a lot. Hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel and share around to Sixers groups, friends and family, whatever you want to do. We will be here for the duration of the playoffs. And, yeah, well, I'll go game by game with you guys. If he shoots the ball, he's a top 5 player easily. Top 3 player. If he shoots the ball and makes his shots, he's a top 3 player in this league. He surpasses Westbrook in my opinion. He surpasses a lot of players if he shoots the ball. And that's the thing. That's why a lot of Sixers fans like myself just shy away from watching the team because we all know what we have in Embiid. And like if we go, it's not going to pay me to say this because it's true. Embiid is the best Sixer in the last 30 years. Allen Iverson's my favorite Sixer, but Joel Embiid is the best Sixer in the last 30 years. Maybe Dr. J was better. Embiid overall is the best Sixer in the last 30 years. AI had the most heart. He won games. But Embiid, I don't say this much. I don't say this much about any Joe Schmo athlete. If you gave Joel Embiid the correct talent around him, he might end up with 5 titles before his career is done. He might end up better than Shaq. He will end up better than Shaq. The guy's a specimen. He's a freak. That Euro step, like modeling Dirk Nowitzki. The guy's phenomenal. He's a great defender. He puts up 30 points a game. The only thing that's battling his greatness is his health. That's about it. Other than that, he's the complete package. And you don't get that, especially in someone his size. You just don't get that. And I understand the whole AI thing. Listen, that's why I was kind of hesitant on saying that because I love Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson and B-Dog, the last 20 years are the best Philly athletes. I have the bias with Nick Foles, obviously, because he won the Super Bowl. But AI had the heart, the leadership, the determination every single night. Barely missed any games. So I could see why people would say he's the best Sixer in the last 30 years. He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. If Joel Embiid left today, he'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Joel Embiid is that good, and I don't know many people that would disagree with me on that. Anyone that watches the game of basketball, Joel Embiid is a freak. He's a fucking freak. And I love Allen Iverson, NBA Finals prediction, Lakers-Bucks. It's a decent prediction. The Lakers fooled me. I thought they were going to lose in fucking 6 games. I don't think that now. In today's NBA, it's pretty laughable to say your center shoots more than your point guard. It's very laughable. And that's where I lead to another discussion. Is Ben Simmons really a point guard? I feel like he's more of a forward. He's going to bring up the ball, but, if you can't shoot the ball, you gotta pass it off to someone else. You just have to. Why is Mike Scott still on this team? Your guess is as good as mine, buddy. No idea. AI took Mutombo and a bunch of nobodies to the finals, and he won a game against Kobe and Shaq. Yeah, he did. I'm not taking anything away from him. That was also his MVP year. I'm not taking anything away from him. But consistency is key. AI that year was just unbelievable, out of his mind. But consistency, Embiid is a better Sixer. Consistency. If Embiid stayed healthy this year, he would have won the MVP. He would have been tied with AI for MVPs. So those are things I look at, you know, and it's another one of those discussions to where, you know, it hits home because AI is so loved by the Sixers fan base and Philly sports fans in general. But you have to look at the full body of work and just see that Embiid he's disgusting, you know. And I don't buy many player jerseys. I just don't, because I feel like a lot of them, you know, a lot of players go to different teams nowadays. A lot of players aren't loyal. Joel Embiid is one of those legendary jerseys that you can have forever, because that's how good he is, you know. And I listen, everyone's gonna have a different opinion. It's a touchy subject because you're talking about AI and you're comparing them to AI, but it's just something that I had to touch on because it's what I believe. Let me see something. Tyrese Maxey, Paul Reed, and Gary Clark Jr. need a lot of minutes instead of Shake Milton. Furkan. A lot of people love Shake Milton. I was never really sold on him. I know he had a hot stretch, but I never really thought he was that valuable to the team, you know. And Mike Scott, I don't even know why he's here. I know his hive loves him dearly, but that guy is one of the worst basketball players I've ever seen in my life. I am not even going to lie to you. I mean, he showed up at the link in Redskins gear, or when they were called the Washington Redskins. Now they're called the football team. And almost got his shit tossed. So, I mean, I don't – Mike Scott never really did it for me. I mean, he'd miss a lot of wide open jump shots. And to me, as a professional athlete, you can't really miss wide open jump shots consistently. You have no time for that. Yeah, that was my comparison. Ben Simmons is like Draymond Green-esque. That was my comparison. Now, a lot of people think that's disrespectful because Draymond Green shouldn't be on the level of Ben Simmons. But Ben Simmons puts him on the Draymond Green level by not shooting the basketball. So, yeah. Maxey Korkmaz. I mean, it's all opinionated. Maxey obviously is not getting a ton of minutes because he's a rook. He'll get playing time down the stretch. But, you know, here's the thing. Maxey was already out the door earlier on in the year because we were looking to trade him for James Harden. So that's another thing that plays in a player's mind. You know, I think Maxey could be a dynamic force on this team down the road. I like the way he plays the game. But when you have that mindset to where they wanted to use you as a bargaining chip to get a star, it could play in your mindset to sign a contract later down the road. I don't know. I don't really look into those things as much as I should. But I know I'm great at human psychology. Like, I could read things, you know, which is why, like, a lot of you guys see me on Twitter. A lot of you guys see me on YouTube just getting ticked off for no reason. Because when I could read people and I know what they're thinking and saying, but they won't say it, I just get pissed off. You know, it's like, just fucking say it, you know? But yeah, if you guys don't follow me on Twitter, you know, it's actually a treat. My @ name, and I will put it in here. Hold on. My @ name is, I'll put it in here. If only, okay, so that's my @ name. I put it into chat. That's my @ name. I'm on there every day. It's my source of entertainment. And go give me a follow on there. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I don't even know what I was talking about. Joel Embiid needs to stay consistent when he is the right key factor with Tobias Harris to start and stay focused the whole game in the paint. And that's the thing. As much as Tobias Harris played great in game 1, I'm not expecting him to do that again. I know we're paying the max money, but he's just not that type. He's not that type of player to where he'll put up 35 points per game. He's just not that type of player. So the team needs to come out swinging to start the game. They can't leave it to one player through the halfway point of the second quarter. They can't do that, or else they'll get killed. You know. Oh, Desert Eagle, what's up, buddy? Give him a sub. Desert Eagle 90, great content creator. Does a majority of the Eagles. He's more of an Eagles content creator, but go sub him up. Oh boy, don't mention Joel being the best Sixer in 30 years. I mean, I know it's a touchy one because I'm such an AI fan, and I love the heart, the determination, and the winning that he brought to the team, especially that 2001 Finals. To me, Joel is the better player. I just feel like he's the whole package. But that's putting elite into elite status. Those are comparing elite players. It's like comparing Michael Jordan to LeBron James. It's comparing elite players. I'm not saying one's trash and one's great. They're both legendary Sixers. And Joel's already a legendary Sixer. If I started a franchise with one player, you give me one player out of those two, I'm starting the franchise with Embiid. Because the guy can do it all. He can even shoot three-pointers. As great as AI was with his handles, making people look funny, just not missing any shots, great at the free throw line, taking multiple hits. I just feel like Joel Embiid is the one guy that you could just plug in there, and it just makes your team 10 to 15 games better, even if you have a shit roster around them. That's just my opinion. Let me find. Yeah, thanks, buddy. I put up my Twitter handle there. Nitro, thoughts on Kwame Brown and calling everyone out? I think it's funny. He couldn't play the game of basketball, so maybe he could get a gig in a stand-up comedy. Who knows? No respect your opinion. I'm just saying people are toxic on Twitter with your opinion. I'll say he's been the best for sure since AI left. Yeah, I mean, if he's not better than AI, he's definitely the best since he left. The reason why people are toxic with my opinion on Twitter is because I'm the only one that would say something like that. And that one holds water because look at Embiid's stats and look at AI stats. It holds water. People just don't like to let things go. And unfortunately, I feel like Embiid would give us the better chance to win a championship. I just do. But unfortunately, they're not putting – it's like the AI effect. He was there for 10 plus years, and they didn't put any talent around him. Like they let him just hang out to dry, and we were contending every year. That's the effect that AI brought to the team. Well, not contending, but playoff spot at least. That was AI effect. The Embiid effect is getting to the playoffs every single year because he's there. If you took Embiid out of this roster, we might be an 8-7 seed, possibly. But here, that's why I love Twitter. That's why I like the I love the toxicness because it brings out a lot of people, and I just feel like it's something that if Twitter wasn't existent, I don't know what I would do right now because it's so much fun. But whatever. It's kind of sad. You see the Clippers last night. Yeah, they're getting roasted, and they're making Doc Rivers look pretty good right now. Hey, what's up, Vester? How you doing? All right. By the way, guys, I am gonna get off here soon because I have to get a tan. I got to go down to the beach to my running. But I will answer this question first from Desert Eagle. I wanted to ask you this because I'm thinking of bringing Sixers content back in the future. What do you expect out of Sixers content creators? Because I know you're very crucial of them. I kind of hit this on the head earlier, and I had to unfollow one of them, which I won't mention. But let's just say this, all right? One of the content creators said to me personally, after I donated to his channel, after I helped support him, because he was one of the younger content creators, just getting better with his work. I helped him with the future of his channel. I helped him donate money to his channel because I thought he was putting in work. And we had disagreement on Twitter, and he tells me you should go root for another team because he put up a tweet comparing the bubble team to this team, but I thought he hated the bubble team. And I was like, you should be more specific next time. And then he said, you should go root for another team. And that's where I'm like, do my opinions really get to these Sixers content creators' heads? And that's where I'm out for blood. That's where I'm trying to take you down. Because when you tell me, someone that's probably 7 years younger, 7 years older than you, to go root for another team when I've seen 7 more years of sports than you, oh, you're dead on Twitter. You're dead on YouTube. You're done. You're done. But answering your question, I think I answered partially some of that. I expect Sixers content creators, to be honest. I understand the passion. I understand trying to be the smartest person in the room. The best thing you can do, Desert, is be honest. If you feel like the team's going to be great, say they're going to be great. If you feel like the team is going to be lackluster, but you're afraid to say it anyway. I want content creators, not just Sixers content creators. I want content creators to be the best that they could possibly be in an honest fashion. Because that's what makes content great. You know, because what you're expecting and why people watch you, they want to hear your opinion so they know what to look forward to down the road. And when you're consistently saying that you're going to win a championship, even if it's not there, it just sets your followers up for failure. It sets your followers up to get their heart ripped out because they're watching you all the time. They look up to you, you know? And then when that happens, they come back to the channel. They're like, oh, what the fuck, man? My heart is ripped out of my fucking chest because I listened to you. They're going to win the championship. It's like, that's why I'm always honest. You know, am I a little bit harsh on the Sixers team? Yeah, I am. But the reason why I am is because I'm trying to make a point. I'm trying to make a point that they need upgrades in the offseason. Like, I try to nail on the head. It's the same thing with Jalen Hurts. I don't think Jalen Hurts is that good at all. I've seen him throughout college. I know the way the guy plays. If he gets benched, that's why I made the bet with Zomp. If he gets benched before week 6, I have to buy him tickets because I don't think he has what it takes to be a quarterback in the NFL. I just don't. You know, it's like I'm very honest. I'm very passionate about what I believe in, and that's all you'll get from me. That's all you'll get from me 100%. But, Desert, you're the man. Go sub up the Desert Eagle 90. He's been around here for a while. Definitely bring back the Sixers content because I know you. I know you'll do a good job with it. But that's what I expect. I expect honesty. And there's only a couple content creators around here I really watch and look forward to because just a lot of them are in it for money. A lot of them are just in it for, you know, the loose change. And that's just, it's definitely not me. But, yeah, go do your shit, man. Ben won't shoot unless someone's threatening to take Call of Duty away from him. It's funny. Hurts isn't good. Yeah, it's my thing. These game day streams are great. Keep telling the truth. Fuck the hate. Yep, I'm gonna keep doing that. You know, and like I said, that's where Twitter being toxic lays into it because, you know, Twitter's toxic in general because of the political stuff going around there. But when you add sports to it and people don't agree with your opinions, it gets nuclear. And you know, I had to unfollow some people, unfortunately, because, you know, I just don't deal with that shit. I don't deal with it, you know, and it is what it is. People like that will earn the lesson, but whatever. Appreciate it, man. I'm staying humble with this team. Honestly, I'm not as confident as 20 years ago. And here's the thing. I started watching during the finals that year where they beat the Lakers with AI, and they beat them in overtime. I would actually say I'm more confident with this team than that team because this team is actually well-rounded. But I know they're not going to win because they have the Nets staring them in the Eastern Conference. But I'm more confident with this team than that team. All they had in that team was Dikembe Mutombo and AI. That's all they had, you know, an old Dikembe Mutombo. So, yeah, it's weird. Julio for first round and make us playoffs. I'm not doing it. I got to pass. My reason is I don't believe in Jalen Hurts. If we had a better quarterback, if we had Deshaun Watson, I would say, yeah, I'm all in for it because Julio has at least 3 years left. I'm not giving up a valuable first-round pick because I just don't believe in our quarterback. I don't. I'm pretty sure Ben Simmons has somewhat of a jumper in his arsenal but never shoots it for reasons that we wouldn't know. I think it's like a petty thing. He's a very, like, odd guy. He's a strange guy to figure out. And I'm sorry there's a lot of noise because there's a lot of moving parts in the house right now because we're getting construction done. But, yeah. Anyway, guys, 45-minute stream. quicker stream, not a quick stream. It was a great stream today. But yeah, do me a favor on the way out. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, share it around to your friends and family. And thank you guys so much for tuning in to this edition of Sixers pregame. Game number 2 versus the Washington Wizards. My final score for the Sixers tonight, the 76ers 110, Washington Wizards 99. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Have a great day, and let's go Sixers.